Hello you guys, this is Dreamon, aka the Belgian Waffle again, and this video is going to be about a discussion and fight that has been talked about a lot on the internet and has been taking a rather concerning course of events. To be more precise, it revolves around one particular individual, a woman called Anita Sarkeesian. Now before I start, I do have to mention that I'm completely neutral against both haters of the feminist movements and feminists themselves. I am not involved with any loving or hating of both of these parties. However, the same cannot be said about Sarkeesian herself. I don't have anything against that woman, and she does have occasionally a reasonable argument, but that is where my affection for her abruptly comes to a stop. Let us see to which depths of hell this ride takes us. Okay you guys, this is Anita Sarkeesian, this is her channel, and this is what she does.
Now the interesting thing is that these gendered signifiers are really quite arbitrary and abstract. There's nothing about a bow in and of itself that's intrinsically or essentially feminine. It's just a piece of colored fabric after all. But our society currently assigns a very specific, socially constructed, and strictly enforced meaning to that piece of fabric. It's a symbol that conveys the concept of female, and invokes the idea of girlhood.
Talking in all our videos about how injustice some games are against the rights of women and how it pictures women in games, and that's how she spends her whole days. That must be pretty fucking exciting to me. Now, her videos have sparked a rampage on the internet between feminists and haters, and I do have to admit that some reactions on her videos were over the top and completely blown out of the water. So she has every right to disable her comment sections. But in a wrong way, those people do have a point. You cannot go and force your opinion onto people and expect to be glorified as a saint. And yes, people may argue that she's not forcing her opinion on us because you do not have to watch her videos per se, but you can try to say that as well of Muslim extremists until a bomb explodes in your backyard. Allahu Akbar! And that's exactly what's happening here. She's personally attacking gamers and the community in their own backyard. So of course those people are gonna fight back, because she's an unwanted guest on their ground. Sooner or later, every gamer will have heard of her and is bound to come in contact with her videos. Because every gamer thinks the same damn thing. She ridicules everything I love about gaming, or even worse, what if she would actually gain enough influence and destroy the way I love to play games? So, even if you're not forced to watch her videos, just the idea alone of her having enough influence and a possible way to destroy gaming as we know it frightens gamers and makes them jump on their horse and go on the offensive. So to be honest, I perfectly understand why some gamers reacted to her videos the way they did, but it may not have been a clean way and the right way to express those emotions of hate and disgust. But I do see why it is hurting gamers in their heart and soul. The first time I saw some of her videos, I had to laugh and cry at the same time. I could not believe that she was making a case out of Miss Pac-Man and Princess Peach. I mean, come on! The first one is just a yellow round ball with long legs and red lips. Who in their right mind would even compare a round ball with a human? Now I can agree with some games that are sexist of course, but this just goes a bridge too far. I cannot see any link between a female yellow ball that eats white dots or a princess locked in a castle tower and the frustration of displaying women in a harmful way. What the f***? None whatsoever. If she would actually try to come up with reasonable logic to back up her arguments, instead of just saying it's wrong to display women as a damsel in distress, then I could perhaps be bothered with listening to her rambling on and on for half an hour. If you want to make a case, then tell me why it is wrong to display women like a damsel in distress in a logical way that every man, woman and child can understand.
So the damsel trope typically makes men the subject of narratives, while relegating women to the role of object. This is a form of objectification because as objects, damseled women are being acted upon, most often becoming or reduced to a prize to be won, a treasure to be found, or a goal to be achieved.
But, as the way that her videos look and sound at the moment, then the only logical explanation I can come up with for her behavior is that she has come a few things short in life and that this frustration reflects itself into gaming. Why? Why do women always act like they're the victims here? Let's get something straight here, women. Men get displayed like big muscle beasts more often than women get displayed like a sex toy in games. Don't you think that those big muscled male characters in games have an influence on men as well? Is it so impossible to think that men also feel the pressure to go to the gym in order to meet that goal of perfection in looks that the society has brought upon us? The only difference between feminists and men is that men can deal with this kind of pressure and don't bitch or moan about it. The fact that feminists like Sarkeesian complain about this makes them at the same time admit that they are slaves to their emotions and overreact to every form of media that shows an ass or a boob that they will never have. Unlike Sarkeesian, I personally love strong female characters in games because too many games have strong male characters, and the ones that do have female characters often display them a little bit too sexy, like in for example Soul Calibur 4 or Dead or Alive, so I can agree with those. Now, don't get me wrong, a boob the size of a man's head can appeal to me very easily, but in games I'm looking for depth and story. If you expect anything else from a game, then you can still turn to your trusty nude mods for Skyrim. Great examples of good strong female characters are for example the new Lara Croft in the latest Tomb Raider game, Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite, Evelyn from Assassin's Creed Liberation, Ellie from The Last of Us, or that Asian girl from the Mirror's Edge game. Those are the kind of women we need in games who will actually serve a purpose to the story instead of merely being eye candy. However, even those characters can be a subject to feed the frenzy of Sarkeesian. Because if even Princess Peach and Miss Pac-Man aren't safe from her, then she will most definitely have something to complain about these too.
Adding a red bow, red lipstick, an eye with makeup, long lashes, and a mole as beauty mark.
Okay, I don't really care if she's got actual valid points towards defending the rights of women, but she is doing more harm than good to both sides. She's even doing harm to feminists themselves. Let me explain what I mean by that. Feminists have come a long way to get women from Western society to the point in modern society where they are now. They literally had to struggle decades to do this, but now suddenly a new breed of feminists is coming along hoping to change the world in less than 24 hours time with all means necessary, with Sarkeesian leading the charge. And this is where it's going in all kinds of wrong. To put it simple, she's basically using a 50 megaton nuke to blow up the already fragile society and balance between men and women that we've built up over the decades. If you're nuking something, you're not only gonna make the enemy extremely pissed, you're also gonna leave a lot of collateral damage along the way and hurting a lot of people from both sides and eventually even hurting yourself. When you're going all Hiroshima on her asses because you want to force people to think like you, then you will destroy all reason for negotiations and understanding.
Go fuck yourself.
No, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Just like the Muslim extremists from the Middle East are doing right now, which basically means that in the end nobody wants to talk to you anymore. And this is where it hurts the feminists themselves. Because now people like Sarkeesian are not only turning haters against feminists, but even neutral people who could have been left out of the fight. So this is creating an image of feminists that nobody likes, period. Now this one is a tough nut to crack because the actual motives of Sarkeesian are pretty hard to determine. I don't even know why somebody as a feminist would still have something to complain about these days besides the difference in payment rates for doing the same job between men and women. Women in the modern Western world have nothing to complain about anymore because all women can get proper education and become whatever they want. They can even join the army or go to space if they want to. Why would you still complain as a woman? The only reason I can think of right now is because you might have been born ugly and can't get a man. All I know about Sarkeesian herself so far is that rumors say that her daddy gave her some cash and that she used it to start up her channel for global domination, although I haven't really found any convincing sources to confirm this, but it does seem to fit with the spoiled attitude and level of ignorance that she appears to have. Then again, others say that she tried to fund her project through Kickstarter and raised over 25 times the amount she originally needed, and still she's digging for money. Whatever way you look at it, to me she just looks like she doesn't have a clue what she's talking about. Everybody can criticize anything, but doing a good job at it is something totally different, and I don't think that what Sarkeesian is doing can be considered as a good job. Because up until now the haters and the feminists were leaving each other alone, because a delicate balance was reached between these two sides. But Sarkeesian thought to herself, hey, let's shake and stir things up and piss off both sides enough and see what happens. Her immature reactions to this whole debate between feminists and the rest of the world is just more fuel on the fire. It's the same as putting a defenseless child in a ring with a sumo wrestler and see what happens when the fight starts. And the worst part of this is that she doesn't have a single clue about the harm she's doing towards the same cause that she claims to defend. If she really wants to make a stand as a feminist and help their cause, then she needs to take a step back from what she's doing and take a different approach, because sooner or later there will get people hurt. We live in such an unstable society where that people who send threats through emails and letters will eventually do something stupid. Anyway, rationally speaking, in my opinion, there are only two ways to look at her onslaught on the internet. Either she is an attention whore who likes to glorify herself as a heroine, or maybe she really doesn't have a clue and really is a spoiled child that thinks she can make a difference by going completely crazy on a rampage against all men and games. Or maybe even better, maybe the reason why she's bashing on something like Princess Peach is because she has never been able to fulfill her own dreams as a princess that finds her own strong prince or knight on a white stallion when she matured. Whoever knows, you can tell me in the comments, because for once I really don't got a clue myself.
Ooh. Oh, I just started getting a clue.
Really?
Yeah, I'm totally getting a clue.
Oh, that's giving me a clue. Yeah, I've got a raging clue right now.
Okay, let's follow your raging clue.
I'll see you guys next time.